You know, hopefully it's obvious that I love Shem MiShmuel, and I was thinking that there's Svarim you learn because you have to learn them. There's Svarim you learn because you love them. And Baruch Hashem, most Svarim I have to learn I love also, but I can't really say I love Shem MiShmuel. And one of the things I love about it is that his versatility, meaning there is a very Hasidic way to learn, which is they're not really trying to say pshat at all. They'll ask a question in pshat and they'll answer with a totally Hasidic pshat, which has nothing to do with the pashtus. But I find that Shem MiShmuel is also a mafarish, meaning a lot of the answers that he says to questions are kind of like the Maral and Gur Aryeh. Maral and Gur Aryeh, I always tell people Maral and Gur Aryeh is a good safe to learn because you get the Maral ideas, you also get the pashtus. In fact, Rabbi Yonasan David in his Haskama to Rabbi Hartman's work on Maral on Chumash explains the whole shame of Gur Aryeh. Explains like
Hartman. Who's Rabbi Hartman?
Rabbi Hartman is the one who put out the blue Marals. Yeah. He lives in England now, but
it's a big project.
Yeah, massive. He's a wonderful person. Anyway, so he there in that Haskama, Rabbi Yonasan David gave him the Haskama. So he had a whole thing about Gur and Aryeh, one's pshat and one's dry. I don't remember it, but if you think about it, that's one of the things that's really nice about Shem MiShmuel. So let's see. The Psukim say like this: Yikash Avram. So of course the Kadosh Baruch Hu is coming and is going to destroy Sdom and Gomorrah, as it does happen. Yeah. But he tells Avram, Yikash Avram, and Avram comes and really makes a heroic effort to save the place. Yikash Avram Yomer Ha'aptis Betzadikim Russia. Ulayish Chamishim Tzadikim Betochi, or maybe 50. Ha'aptis Belotisan Lamokam Man Chamishim Tzadikim. You're not going to save it for the 50. And Avram speaks quite strongly, if he knows. Like we say, God forbid, God, that you do this, right? Lami tzadikim Russia, v'ayik tzadik Russia, chalilacha, and he again, Hashovi kol aretz lo yaseh mishpad. V'yomer Shem, okay, but what we want to point out here is how takif Avram speaks, and Hashem says, okay. V'yan Avram, Hashem, let's continue. V'yomer Hashem, im emtzeh b'stom chamishim tzadikim b'toch hier, v'nasati l'chol makom bavuram. I can handle the 50. V'yan Avram v'yomer, hinei no halti l'daber el adon kai. Right, I started to speak to you. V'anochi ofer v'efer. Now suddenly it's anochi ofer v'efer. Ulay yachzur chamishim tzadikim chamisha. Maybe they'll be only attashli b'chamisha et kol year. V'yomer lo ashchidim tzasham arbaim v'chamisha, and everybody knows that the conversation goes on. But what I never really noted correctly, what Rabbeim is going to talk about, which is really glaring, is the change from the beginning of how Avram speaks to the end. I mean, look at that. Look at the opening. Maybe they're 50. Ve'igash Chalila. And then already it's Anochi Ofer Ve'efer. Can I speak again? So that's what we want to talk about. Why does Avraham Avinu say Anochi Ofer at all? And why here? Okay, that just now we're focusing on the Anochi Ofer Ve'efer. Why is Avraham saying that suddenly? Anochi Ofer Ve'efer, what's his point? Okay?
The beginning said Ve'igash.
Yeah, right. So now, should a person always daven no matter what his spiritual state? Interesting question we're going to deal with. Okay. So this is from Tafrei Shayin Gimel. Hinei no alti ledaber el Hashem v'anochi afer v'efer. Yesh l'daktik. Manyan anochi afer v'efer lekan. Okay, why did he suddenly say that? And this Sforno, he says, wrote about this, and I didn't really understand what the Sforno said. Basically, he says, and I'm trying to understand the Sforno. Okay, so that's that. The Nira Ode, he hasn't really said anything. He just said the Sforno deals with this. The Nira Ode lefarish b'pshitus. I'm going to give a pshat, b'pshitut. So Amar Abram. Hashem says, I'm going to come with them with judgment. Tan hinei gamani hayiti roy. Right, Hashem is saying, I'm going to come bedin with them. So Abram says, look, God, I'm also offer v'efer, right? And I'll be nothing. Luli rachamech, it wouldn't be for your mercy. Asher amdu lifnim ashur sedin. We don't think of Abram like that. But Anachi V'Efer does get that a different image, not Avram Ovi, Avram that himself had lackings, at least Klapi, the way he saw himself, Klapi Hashem had lackings, and Hashem, I really should be offered V'Efer, right? I haven't done a good enough job, and you could have knocked me out a long time ago. And it's only Lifnim Rishur Sedin that I stand here. In Cain, Kachi Midas Tuvcha, Me'olam, L'Rachem, Al B'Shenu Kadais, that's how you are, Hashem. You're so Merachem, you're so good. In Cain, how you talking Shitashchis, right? So that's what Anochi buffer is. Let's go a little more and then we'll explain it. Ubezem Yushav, Masham is a betfila hashniya, the second time, below betfila rishona, as we spoke out. Ki why? Berishona, bikesh l'nsos chus bedin. First, Avram came bedin. Hashovi called Haris l'yasem mishpat. In that context, there's no reason to say Anochi off of Vayfer. Rak b'sheni shebikesh rachmim gemurim, atat tzadikol shalom titztaref imahem, im kein b'mamar hazeh. Right? So now it's a beautiful explanation. Right? So as we saw, Shem MiShmuel is picking up on the fact that really there's two different tefillahs going on. The first tefillah is a tefillah of Din. The Kaddish Baruch Hu, this is not, like you could say to someone, this is not right. Someone, Chalila, I never want to, but Chalila, have to kick someone out of yeshiva, God forbid, right? So someone comes to me and first thing he says, look, it's not bedin, it's not right. It's not right. And I say, well, no, it is right. And then he starts crying. Okay, but have rachmanis. That's a different, right? That's a different word. So Avram at first is coming, as you see, Chalila Kamiyasod Kadavar Zeh, let's say Ketzadik Chalila Chashovei Kolar to Yasem Mishpat. That's clear that initially Avram would coming in Din. And there he wouldn't say Nochi V'Afar because it doesn't have any place. But now on the second level, it's coming with a whole different tefillah. Kaddish Baruch Hu, okay, maybe there aren't 50, and then it's really rachmanis, right? And look, Kaddish Baruch Hu, I also need Rachmanis. And I'm here because of your Rachmanis. Because me, myself, I'm an offer Vayfer. I'm nothing. Who am I to stand? And yeah, Kaddish Baruch Hu, you sovel me, right? So be sovel them also. That's what I mean. It's a good shot. That's a good push-up shot. Now, what's the Musar in this, friends? Ubezet tochacha Musar l'cholish. Libal yayesh l'palel. Av shemat atzmo she'enu kedai. You think to yourself you're not right? Don't stop davening. Abraham Avinu thought he wasn't right, but he davened. Mikom makom yemer lanavsho. Hello, chatati aviti pashati lefenech Hashem Yisborach. B'yom yot yala damam. Kaddish Baruch Hu, look, I've sinned a lot, God forbid. Mikol makom rachamecha ram amduli, but I'm here, right? I'm here. Im kein midascha imi me'olam l'rachim oti. Al b'sheni kedai. So you obviously have rachmanis on me. I say gama yoma imi b'shmat tefillah. So do today also shmat tefillah. So it's such a beautiful. It's such a beautiful lesson, right? That a person can say, and Klal Yisrael could say, a person can say, there are a lot of reasons, God forbid, right? A lot of midas in a lot of things, but a person could turn to the Baruch and say, look, Kaddish Baruch Hu, and I want to add, Kaddish Baruch Hu wants us to come to him like that, right? That's just like here, he knows what Avram's doing. He knows what Avram's going to do, but that's our dialogue with Eternal. Our job is to ask, right? His job is to say yes and to say no. But if we don't ask, then we're not going to get a yes. Yeah, you never know until you ask. And I heard the expression, you never know.
If you don't pick a lotto, you're not going to win.
Exactly. So therefore, that's how we have to come to Hashem, no matter what. Right? So now, that answers the question. Should a person always down no matter what spiritual is? Yes. Right? Yes, she's down to tell you spiritual state. And come to the Baruch and say, Kaddish Baruch Hu, I know I am lacking, and I mean it, I'm lacking. But you got such rachmanis on me until now. And you've dealt with me until now. And you've shown such chesed with me until now. So you can do this chesed also. It reminds me of the same thing. My Rebbe told me one time the Holy Baal Shem's daughter, I think her name was Udal, or maybe Fegi, I forgot. Fegel. So he said, Rabbi Shem, I know you help, and I know you're going to help, and I know you always help. But could you help a little faster, right? So it's not the same thing, but that's the point, right? It's very important to remember the Shem MiShmuel. Rabbi Shem always wants us to turn to him. There's always somebody to talk to when you're up, when you're down. Okay. Now,
it says even if it's sword and the person's throat, you should never have any.
Exactly. But the Shem MiShmuel here is telling us specifically what nusach tefillah we can say, right? That's the point. Kaddish Baruch Hu, I haven't been beseder, and hagufa, in my state of not being beseder, in my state of not being enough, you've been so good to me, and I mean it, and you've been so good to me. So please continue to be good to me, and grant this thing also. It's all chesed anyway. So be mischased with me also, just like Avram says, I know the offer favor. So it's a beautiful pshat and a beautiful lesson. Okay, second piece. We have three pieces today. We say one malach only does one shlichus, yet we find some mixing in their shlichus, right? One of the big things that is laid out in the Parsha and Rashi is we have the three malachim, and they each came for different things. One came for the Basara for Sarah, what's famous and what's basically known. One came for the Basara for Sarah. One came to overturn a stone, and one came to save Lot. Right? Those are the three malachim. But also we find
heal Avraham. What? To heal
Avraham. The first one came for that. Okay, so But Lamaisa, we're going to find some mixing in their shlichus. That's what he's going to talk about. And also, why did all three have to come to the Suda? Right? The only one who came to the Suda was the one who was dealing with Sarah and Abram. They don't have to come for the... Why did all three come? That's a simple question. So let's see. They said in the Lashon plural that they're going to destroy the place. They weren't all coming to destroy stone. One was going to save Lod. I remember, I think the Mefarshi Rashi deal with a lot of these questions. He spoke in the Lashon singular, lo uchal. Right, so mashchitim lo uchal. There you see it, right? Right? They all came together to the Suda. Yitzchak, right, coming from Abram. I'm not sure exactly where he's coming from this, but Yitzchak was completion. Yitzchak, his ikr thing was din, but he had rachamim also. Shalom b'chol midas. Mized itzmach nami lehipuch. I think he's built on something that he wrote earlier, which I hadn't seen. I think kamo means kedei. I think that's what he means here. That they all came to the Suda. I think where he's heading like this is like this, that one of the malachim represented din, and one represented chesed, and they all came because they all wanted to be involved in Yitzchak to give the shleimus to Yitzchak. Means there was din dikakolchos going into Yitzchak, and there were chesed dikakolchos going into Yitzchak, and that was creating the shleimus. I think that's what he means to say. Like the kamos like kedei. Yitzchak. I think like kamos like kedei sheyitzi Yitzchak. Muzag like is mixed. Din v'rachmim shalim b'chol midos. Mized nitzvach nami lehipach shamashchit et stom b'schalo im yeter malachim kibol mehem nami tzad rachmim. So now they're all together. So what happens? It's like with your friends, right? You can have a friend who's like very, very tough, and you have a friend who's very, very sweet. Okay, I'm around my sweet friend, so I can't be so be so tough. Yeah, I'm around my tough friend, I can't be so sweet. So we learn from each other, and we're mismazi from each other. So the reason that we asked, this is the beauty here in this piece. On the one hand, the way it looks is like each malach is doing a different, like there's one mission. That's the point. It seems like it's totally separate, one mission. Yeah. But what Rabbeinu is doing is saying, but look, we're going to see more, that it wasn't just one mission, there was a mix there. That's a nice idea here. So that's why they were at the Suda together, dafka, like that, to help Yitzchak. And also in the Hashchasa, he's going from, remember that, Mizen Yitzchak Nami Lehipech Shamashchit Et Stom Bischolo, the one who was mashma Bischolo, by him being together, like Klal, Bischolo, Yeter Malachim, through him being together, the Malachim, Kibel Mehem, Nami Tzad Rachmin, who got a Tzad Rachmin? B'chein Kasum Matzil Lod, Kibel Gam Mitzad Din. They're all being makal from each other. The pasuk says that they hotziu, they both took him out. V'yanichu lashon ra michutz li'er. V'imkein harigam malach hamashkus haya misayeh batzala. So it comes out, who's the two? He was misayeh. V'chein kasav malach hamatzil es lod nechshav nami shaya misayeh bashchasa. So, and the one who was taking out load also helped in this. V'aynu mashoti mitocham et lod, in that which he took out load. So if the one who took load out hadn't acted, you could be mashkid. So therefore, you're right. Like, imagine if you knew that if I take load out, he's going to destroy the city. So maybe I'll do a cheshbon and say, you know what, I'm not going to take load out. Because in order to sit, I'll do an eitzah.
Yeah.
Right?
Until they won't rescue load, you can't mash.
Right. So you won't do it. No, but he was also, but he did, right? Yeah. So by him doing that, he was being Messiah in the Hashchasa. V'chein malach shay Messiah b'atzala nami mitam zeh she'atzala nami nechshevet la'ashchasa. Right? Mikol malkum. So what you see is harei hayu b'shneim tzad adin v'tzad harachmim. Ella. So what is zeikar l'adin zeikar l'rachmim? So that's a gevaldige. It's a new look again in the Parshanut. It's a new look at what was happening. My understanding always was that each malach is for one thing, absolutely separate, like and separate and one-minded, single-minded. That was my understanding, and there are a lot of questions on it. But Shem MiShmuel's opinion is that no, they were bikar this, but they were also had studim of that. Now watch this. So he says, "Lafi amur yeshli tantam shebechol parshas snom muskar shem havaya baruch hu shu shem rachamim ubatzalas lod muskar shem elokim shu shem adin." So they said, now I have another terrorist. Why, when it comes to the stone, which is the ultimate act, the stone, Haficha stone is an act of ultimate din. Yet I see the Shem Havaya there. And when it's Hatzalah slow, which is an action of Hatzalah, which is of absolute Rachamim, I see Shem Elohim as the Shem Adin. L'chor ibcha mi boile. Right? It should be the opposite. Olanal nicha. Okay? Beautiful. So we're both saying, again, this is a beautiful piece in Parshanut. I think also the lesson is that, that we have to learn from each other. If your personality is one way, you can learn from your friends. Obviously, that the Malachim were getting to a certain shleimus. It means that the Malachim were coming in this way. They get to this Suda, and now they, so to speak, learn from each other, gain each other. Each person, the way I would say it is like, it's just the kind of like a mussar to take out, but people have their focus. And you have to have your focus. But you always have to be mismazik from other things. One of the rabbis of Vishnitz said, by my father, it was Gudas Yisrael and Vishnitz. And by me, it's Vishnitz and a Gudas Yisrael. I don't remember which one said it. But my father, the Iker thing was Gudas Yisrael, or Klal Yisrael. I think Gudas Yisrael, he was thinking about the Klal. And then he thought about the Hasidus second. And I think about Hasidus first. And then and I don't know if he was saying worse or better. Maybe he was saying my father's better than me. But the point is that person has a focus, right? My focus is, I'm focused on the yeshiva. I'm focused on my family. Someone says, good, you're focused on your family. That's good. But there's other things also. Don't just be, when people...
Narrow-minded. Don't be narrow-minded.
Right, narrow-minded. When you're narrow-minded, you're less interested. Okay, so now one more piece. This is an unbelievable horror, which again, I never had. Yukachna ma'at mayim. Have a little bit of water. Okay, well, let's get the situation. It's kachom yom. They're in the desert, right? It's kachom. So maybe you want a little water. That's how you speak to people?
They get so much water, and now he wants to get so little.
Right. Why is he giving us a little water? So why was Avram being, quote unquote, cheap with the water? And should we ever this is a very important question, should we ever limit our love and hashpah? Right? Is there a time when you say I have to give a little less? Okay, we're dealing with the central question here. Tav Reish Ayin Daled. Yukach na ma'ayim v'rachatzu raglechem. I never saw him write like this before. Vadiktuk atzum. Yeah, the thing I have to point here is atzum. It's tremendous, meaning like the question kind of. Madua be'inyin hamayim nasa kol kach chamtzan. Why is he so cheap? Vamar ma'ad mayim. V'lo amar yukach mayim v'rachatzu Rab Omad, right? We're talking about Avram here. Now, I'm emphasizing the question because the water's the Iker, right? We all know we can get by without the Lashonas. Yeah. He's giving them the best Lashonas of Lashonas, right? The third born, and taking all these and making sure 3 different things. They should all get tongue, and I want to give each one a delicious piece of tongue. And okay, that. Fine. Now that they're getting. I'm sure you had, and they got Chalavi also there, and all the good stuff, yeah. And when it comes to water, you get a little bit of water. Here's your... Like in one of those restaurants, sometimes the fancy restaurants, they give you a really small portion. Come on. So, and water's the most important thing. Well, they need water more than any other thing. So it's a big kasha. I never saw this kasha before. I don't remember. Near LP, Shikvar Higad Numashanishal. This is really interesting. Kvod Kedusha Zikani and more doesn't be Kutsk. So it's always a treat when he quotes his grandfather, the great Kutzker. Madua Lifnim Haisa Ab Kol Kach Gedola Gedol Kol Kabein Chasidim Mad Shalonim Zekol Kach Bitim Achronot. Once upon a time, Hasidim loved each other. Yeah. So again, I don't know where we're holding today, and I'm not Hasidish, so I don't know. But it seems that there was some historical change at a certain point. There's a tremendous love being Hasidim.
It's a small.
Okay, that's how we would describe it. We have sociological minds, but the Rebbes were thinking about things in a deeper way. So let's see. There's a Heichal Ava upstairs. Rabbi Kaddish who did it. Rav Levi Yitzchak who did it. Pasach oso heichal. Yeah? He opened it up. Umizeh nasta ava kol kach gedol ben chasidim. Right? Ach kasher harishayim ishtamshu gam kein ba'avazul avas chitzonis nimnu tzadiki hador b'sogor et heichal hazeh. Incredible. So, this is what Rabbi Schoonmaker calls shvili derikia. He always talks about it. I mean, many things that the Rebbe said. Now, it's important, here I just want to say something. It's important for us to differentiate between this is my personal opinion, right? Every Rebbe today, any Rebbe today, we don't necessarily say that he knows what's going on upstairs and things like that, right? Right? I don't believe that. But I definitely believe, personally, that there were Rebbes who definitely did. And I happen to believe there are people around today who still have deeper insight, and you can't deny it. Rabbi Kanietz was one of the people. There are many, many stories about things. The Rabbi David Abba Chatzera, there's some of their undeniable stories, too many of them, they're too close. That you can find, it's easy to be a questioning litvak without checking things out. It's all baloney. Go speak to people. Be a scientist about it. You can't put people on a laboratory, but you'll hear many, many stories. Doesn't mean every story is like that. So many stories there. Chaim, Israeli TV, there's stories about that. So there is greater insight, And I have no problem thinking that some of the great Hasidic rabbis who were Kedoshei Elyon had it, right? So, right. So anyway,
Baba Sali, they had so many.
Baba Sali, right? Baba Sali, you can't deny them. You can't. It's too many. I don't think you can reasonably deny it. That's how I would say it. So there were people who had these insights. Now it doesn't mean everybody who like sneezed had an insight, right? And sometimes followers embellish things and put things up, but we shouldn't. This is important. Because some people take ideas and go too far with them, doesn't mean that the idea isn't true, right? Some people abuse Purim, so we're not going to drink on Purim. We're not going to have, we're not going to have time and fun on Purim. Let's just drink, Pepsi with, Yosim and Limudo. Because look, some people abuse Purim. So since people abuse Purim, so I'm not going to drink. No, I mean Purim is Purim, right? People abuse in some portion. So I find that sometimes, because there's like anything, there's a balance and the right way to be. Okay, so this story is definitely such. So the Heilige Kotzka was talking about the Heiliger Berditchever, and he said that he opened up an Ava, but then what happened was, once that was available, the Ava was out there, and it went too far, and people took it to Ava Chitzonis. There was a certain...
This is the Rishonim.
The Rishonim
took it like...
Right, and to bad places, and therefore the later tzaddikim had to close a little bit. Right, the kvar manush is or should never be on rishon shenignas b'nei hakavana azos. Right, that's the idea, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now that's it. Let's think about this for a second. It means that there are certain ideas, there's certain insights, there's certain movements which are so powerful, but left unbridled, they can get to dangerous places. So let's see what he does with it. Hinei. This is awesome. I never saw this before. Do you ever see this? Avram Avinu Hashem Hayo or should never be on rishon. The light of the first day was Avram. Umedrash Vayihi or Avram. The mitzias of Avram was so great. Like I always like to quote, Avram was like the sun. But here he's mom, like the Oregonas. He was more than that. Avram was the light of the world, right? By Mokshech is kolon ba'ava v'ches lachnisim tachas kan v'yeshchina. Right? Avram is it's like unimaginable when you imagine like the greatest Talmid Chacham put together with the greatest Chabad rabbi, put together with the greatest singer, put together with the greatest philosopher. That's what it was. It's someone you can't, I just want to say a word. I can't call him a friend, but just as someone passed away recently, Moshe Hauer, right? And it's not the same thing, but you met him right away. You saw there was a certain spiritual magnetism to him. You saw there was someone who was like a chashuv person. Certain people, you feel it about them that they're. So I felt that about Moshe Hauer, which is when I met many people have spoken about Nebuch, who's died at 60. I don't know if you heard about him. He was very chashuv rav. He spoke here, and it's a big loss to Klai. So, but there are people you meet them and you see like, wow, there's spiritual energy here. Not because people making a big deal about him. You see them. I've sent people to Svi Meyer. They tell me like you feel it. Something's up over there, right? So if we can imagine that on a small, you're talking about something a billion times more than that. It's not. It's like right. Avram was. He think about it, he was sochav the whole olam. 4,000 years later, we're still on his journey. We wish everyone would be monotheistic, but he did make the Judaic Christian Havdil, ethic, etc., which penetrated the whole world, the whole Western world, the whole civilized world, etc. Is incredible. And the Elokim went up with the pin. Okay, so let's read that line by Moshech. He draw kol olam ba'ava v'chesed lachnisam tachas kan v'shchina. Shayidei shechnisu lelabam libam ha'aval Hashem Yisborach. He made them love Hashem. He showed them hashlichas elilei ksaf. Guess what? Throw out your vote of Zara, which is I'm talking about God. I'm talking about the Eibishter, right? Ve'elilei zahavam ubo lachas tachas kan v'shina. So it wasn't a good drasha. It was the Eibishter. Come on, let's go, love him. And okay, good. Avodah Zarah, garbage. Get out of it. V'zeu kinoi l'rechitzas reglayim hamutunafos ba'ava chitzonis. That was the reglayim. They had their. He says, wash your feet. What's he saying? Get rid of this other stuff, right? Get rid of your avodah zarah. That's the v'zeu shomer bereshis dvarav yukach na ma'mayim v'rachatzu regleichem. Clean off your feet, man. Get rid of that garbage. It's saying something Kabbalistic here. And the water is the water of chesed. Okay, so good. Now why a little bit? Let's see. I'm not sure what that means. But he didn't realize they were malachim at this point, right? He thinks that they're I don't know what sheikadel means, but like they're regular non-Jews. He had to be careful at how much hashpah he gave them.
Because you thought they were Arabs, right?
Right. V'hashpa'as ava v'chesed l'libam shetiyeh b'mido mishko with simtzum gadol shelo yosef kimlo nema and shouldn't add too much sheyishtaru b'zeh avos chitzonis. Just like the Heilige Berditchever opened up the Pesachim, and then it was taken to the wrong place and we had to close it. So Avram, I'm going to get back to the first piece in a second. He knows Vistagninius Gdola Haisalivo Shal Avram, and he had a great, like a Stagninius, a great sense. That means astrological sense, but it means more than that, right? So Avram knew exactly how much love to each person. That's to take a little bit of water. So we said, what's the idea of Yukach Namad Mayim? Why are you taking? Because Avram is bringing love to the whole world. He's bringing chesed to the whole world. He's bringing to the world. But he knows that great ideas and great feelings can be taken to the wrong things. I'll leave the names out because this tape is going out. But I was around one time in a certain Kiruv organization where they were running a certain program, and I heard one person say to the other, do you know what's going on? Like, we made this program to bring Jews together, and then they wrote like they're living together. That's not where we went. Wasn't supposed to go to there. Like, and you put on the website. Like, what are you doing? You can't. I know a lot of Q organizations, but we can't have this on the website, right? So I'm bringing people together, right? Yeah. So that is it good to bring people together? Of course. Well, but what happens? In the picture, everybody's talking. Wait. No, I didn't mean that, right? We love. So let's, we love Buddha also. Like, we're accepting, we're tolerant. When you say you're pluralistic, right? It's a very dangerous word. What do you mean by pluralistic? Everything's accepted. Wait. Everything's accepted. So patriotism. So that's that. But you see the anger, that the danger. The danger is when you're just pushing an ava, love. So then it turns into Woodstock. It turns into drugs. Turns into all types of things. So Avram Avinu. So how did Avram do it? Avram, like he says, look at this line. Yodeh lechav midas hashpas ava b'tzimtzum atzum ma'od. He knew how to do it. He knew, like this person. Yeah, if I go too far, or it's like we know sometimes small docha. You mean mekayim. Rav Simcha Wasserman used to say that only both. If I just move the phone with my right hand, it just moves places. If I just move my left hand, it doesn't. But you have to use the right and the left. Not saying sometimes you have to be tough with a person, and we all know a kick in the pants is what people need sometimes. But just make me feel good. No, it has to be b'tzuma. Of course, you have to show love to people. You have to give good feeling, good verta, good words, all the chesed of Avram. But we see Avram himself. I think it's an unbelievable message because it's coming from Avram. The Shmekora Chesed said, "Yikuach na my mind. I don't want the Hashpah to go too far. I know where these guys are going to take it. I'm going to open up all these ideas to them. I'm going to show them all the love. I'm going to give them self-confident, and they're going to go. They're going to go and say, maybe they're going to go and say, until now I was thinking about should we attack other caravans or not? I have so much self-confidence now. Abraham made me feel so good. We can do anything. I can do anything. Why are we scared of attacking bigger caravans? Let's kill. Next time we're going to kill all the camels. You know what I'm saying? We're going to kill all the. We're going to steal from the kings next time. Why should nothing can stop us? It's a lot of messages like that. You give a message about self-confidence. You can accomplish anything. Okay, you can accomplish anything. Go around, or just have to be full of gaiva. Wait, what about me talking? What about I can accomplish anything? There's no boundaries. There's no stealing. No. Wait. How are they going to take that? They're going to hear that and then put God out the picture. That's a very dangerous. So the hashkafa went wrong. So now I give. So you have to show obviously a lot of love and a lot of caring and a lot of feeling for people, but you have to know where are they taking it, where's it going, where's it headed? Is it going to be misused? Is it going to be misunderstood? Okay, that's the message. An incredible message.
It's like what you said before with the Moloch.
One second. So now I wanted to make a point about that also, which I always say this, connecting back to the original piece we did about Abram. You see a dikduk nifla. That the first look at Avram again. This is the Makor Chesed. Yeah. So the first tefillah, he's coming to the Baruch Hu bedin, and he knew that this is a way to speak bedin. Yeah. And now what? Okay, that doesn't work, or maybe it's not going to be like that. Now I have to go into another thing. See, you see his versatility. You see his shlemus. Wow. It's not like we imagine Avram. Yeah, he's just like love, love. Hey, brothers. Peace. Right? I was there with long hair. He got one of those. Peace. 70s guy. Let's go, man. Like we didn't sit on grass. We smoked it. Like no, Avram is a Makor Chesed, but by Rosh Hashanah he knows how to speak strongly to the Rabbanu Shalom. He knows how to say Anochi Offer Paper. And by the way, the Ramban says, if I remember correctly, why did he stop at 10? I have another idea. Why did Avram stop? Avram didn't have. He should have said, Kadosh Baruch Hu, just let them off anyway. No. If they don't have 10 people, if there aren't 10 in the whole 5 cities, I can't daven for them anymore. And the Ramban learns that's why Hashem told him. The Ramban says, I can trust Avram because I know he's going to daven for me, and I know he's going to beg me, but I know he's going to know when to stop also.
Wow.
Because Avram was a big Talmid Chacham. I was a tremendous Bardea. He knew I was too far. So you see in all these messages, there's limits. Exactly. The chesed, the din has to be mimuzig. Like I said, the din, that really it all comes. I didn't mean to connect the 3 pieces, but the 3 pieces really all connect each other. The malachim need.
Together,
the malachim needs
the
right. So really, it's nice. I didn't mean to, but the 3 pieces really connect beautifully. Benir is there, right? Yeah. So now he continues. The calls the hayim mipashay osik banashim shetivim nota v'nimshach l'chitzonis. Ach Yisrael am kodesh b'yom Shabbos kodesh, right? What? But us, we say on Shabbos. B'Shabbos kodesh ba'avo rotzen hichlilon. He gave us love and feeling. He inherited for us perish. Ba'avo rotzen b'tziruf avo rotzen. Hainu she'Shabbos melubush b'levush avo rotzen. Ve'bo tzimtzum v'kimus b'midas avo. Shabbos is all love. Ve'lochush chas v'shalom. Shisarve b'zel chitzonis. He says on Shabbos we don't have to worry. You know, Shabbos is all. The Rebbeinu v'kulan arkin l'nukva the tehuma rabba v'nosin avo la'adam yosem mikvi madrigoso. So then he says a tefillah, which I didn't cop the last thing, but so Rabbeinu says, I think the message we said is true, and I think he probably meant to get that across also. You know, we have to be careful ourselves. But Rabbeinu finishes on Shabbos, Klai Yisrael on Shabbos, no rule, no boundaries, we don't have to worry about anything. You know, but the message is incredible. So really, we learned, a beautiful thing that from all 3 messages we come out with a certain piece, which is it's a piece which I often get to. But I didn't mean to. But you see it coming out here is that yes, Avram says Anochi Alfer Vefer, but it's in the right context. Yeah, and Avram also knows how to daven and say it how it is. And I added from the Ramban that Rabban Shem trusts Avram and knows that he can tell him to daven, and I can't not tell Avram. Yadati b'kiyat sav ezbanav. He's got it right, and he knows when to push, and he knows when to not push, and he knows when to stop. He knows when it's inappropriate. He knows when it's, if it's appropriate to push. But once it gets to be a chutzpah, no. And the malachim are getting the hashpah from each other, the malach dik is that. And finally, this last piece, Yukach Namamayim, is Avram Avinu also. He's not being stingy. He's saying that of course I'm going to give them Ava and Ratzon. I'm being Makar of them. Yeah. But I have to know, I have to keep my eyes open, I have to sense what's the right amount. And Hashem should be mechaven us to get all the balances right.
I once heard from